Good day, good day, good day, good day, everyone. How you guys doing? Shout out to Ellen first on the stream. Mr. Ido saying good morning, coaches. Hope you're all doing good. We are doing fantastic. Welcome, everyone. Just let me know in the chat if you can hear me at this moment. If you can hear me, okay. Let me know. Awesome. Then also, if you can, please drop your name in the chat so I know who's live with me today. We're going to do some training. Some of you who are masterminds or some of you have been with us for a while, you'll know some of these things already, but I'll recap it in any case. For our newbies, I know you missed class, and we've been quite busy this week with Coach Brian and Coach Cindy landing here in Cape Town, South Africa, so we had to deal with that as well. I made it sound bad, like we had to deal with them, right? It's a good thing to have them here. But shout out to everybody. How am I doing, Innocent? I'm doing fantastic. Thank you, Matt. Mr. Ninja Nate, OS as well. Victoria, welcome. If you know anyone else in the groups that you're part of, whether the student groups or so, please let them know that I am live. I'm going to be teaching about the two things the market does, and I think still till this day is my best way of actually looking at what direction the market will take. We'll talk about that, and if there's time within this next hour, we'll look at charts as well, and we'll see what's happening on the market. If you guys are ready to learn, if you're excited, please let me know. I'll give you a minute or so just to let everybody know that I'm live, and when you do, I'll be back on. So stay tuned, don't jump off. I am here. Thank you for guys joining. Please stay for the entire stream as well. And if you are new here, you can go to kingdomdaytraders.com and you can sign up there if you want to know more about what we do. Okay? So in about 1 minute, I'll be back. And then we're going to jump into the teaching. So while you're jumping on now, if you're just hearing my voice, then please drop your name in the chat as well. Welcome, Jill. Good morning, excited. Awesome. I know people like to jump on late, so I'm going to give them 1 more minute to jump on, and we're going to jump into the actual stream. Okay, so see you guys soon. Get those books and pens and notepads and things out, because as you know, many times it's not what's on the slide. It's actually what gets said as well in between. So pay attention to what gets said today. Okay? We're going to have a good time. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Frederick as well, joining. I'm happy to have you here. It's going to get good. Okay? See you guys in 1 to 2 minutes. We are back with a little bit of news today. Let me put that in the screen like that. Interesting news. I'm sure that a lot of you have probably seen that the market has dropped drastically. I'm talking about the stock market. The tech market has dropped drastically, and I thought I'll start off with a little bit of news as to why that has happened. So as you all know, and let me know in the chat if you have been following this actual trend, you know that there's been a massive kind of like uptick in the AI space. A massive uptick, and truth be told, this is going to affect all the industries that we are used to. But the big thing that has happened this week, or rather yesterday really, is that DeepSeek, which is a copy of ChatGPT, right? Now you might be saying to yourself, How does this effectively affect me? Well, it affects all tech stocks and all tech markets. So whether that's the NASDAQ and you're trading the indices, or whether that is the NASDAQ futures, it affects that as well. As you can see on my screen, that the NVIDIA stock, which is the big one here, it dropped by approximately 600 billion. Now, don't fall off your chair. For a lot of us, that's a bunch of money. But for NVIDIA, that's only about 17, NVIDIA, depending on where you are in the world, that's only about 17% of its overall market cap. But nonetheless, that is still a big bunch of money. And this is only one company. And so many other companies have fallen as well, right? As you can see on my screen over here, NVIDIA shares steady after Wall Street rout and DeepSeek fears. 600 billion lost, nearly 600 billion lost. Others reported 580. What's a couple of billion between friends, as they say. But overall, the AI industry, all markets as a whole, is definitely going to be affected by this. Now, what's interesting is that absent this knowledge, if all you did was actually follow the chart footprint, you can actually find a reason for the chart to go down even before it went down. And that's what's important. Is, does news confirm what we're already seeing, or does it change the actual trend as a whole? That's what we have to decide, right? Is this amplifying what's already there, or is it taken away from it? And of course, we saw a massive drop-off across multiple markets when this news came out. In fact, I got a NASDAQ chart on here, I believe. I'll bring it up real quick. Let me show you. We looked at this massive drop from the top. That's the massive drop from the top. We're now consolidating here. Of course, there's a little buyback, bit of profit taking and reinvestment into the actual asset class. But generally, tech stocks as a whole took a bit of a knock on account of this news. Because what this means is, and here's what it means. Let me take you back to the other screen. What this means is that, number one, DeepSeek operates on about 95% less. Did you hear what I said? 95% less power than ChatGPT. And it only cost about $6 million to actually set up, whereas ChatGPT apparently is in the billions of the billions, right? And what this means is that where the chip manufacturers were previously, all the money was flowing to like high-end chip manufacturers in the US, like NVIDIA. Now, the question that it begs is, do we really need these kind of chips? Do we really need these kind of things to power this? Because DeepSeek, which is now outperforming almost every other AI there is, was made as a side thing, kind of like a side little job that these quantum, like it's called quants. I don't know if you guys want to get into that, but that they were actually coding. What I'm saying is essentially the markets in 2025 is going to be very volatile. All of that led to this point. Highlight, circle on your notes. The markets in 2025 is going to be very volatile. All your tech companies are going to be shaken up, and by implication, all your financial markets as well. Now, why is this important news? This is good news for us because if the market is volatile, volatility is our friend. Volatility is our friend. If you haven't yet dropped your name in the chat, please drop your name in the chat. I want to know who's live with me today. Shout out to Kate and David as well. Shout out to my masterminds. Thank you for joining. And my students, my high-level students as well. Thank you for joining. And newbies, if you're here as well, let us know. Thank you for joining. I'm going to cover something that masterminds you know quite well. But for my newbies, if you answered your email and you jumped on, this is going to be good for you. And I want you to, even if you're a mastermind here today, I want you to reflect on how well this works, and is the chart actually producing that footprint. And if you stick with it towards the end, I'm going to show you what the first signs of that turning point is. So I got 30 people on with me today, and I'm happy to have you all here. Shout out to Mr. Timothy as well, and Mr. Jason. Mr. Jason, I was going to say Mr. Jason AI. Shout out Coach Bob as well. Thank you all for coming. It's going to be a good one. Okay. So as I said earlier on, we could see the influence on the charts, on the markets as a whole, as to what these tech news things have done. Now, I want to move over to this NASDAQ chart before we actually talk about the lesson as a whole and say, we anticipated that we were going to drop down to this level. We're now inside of here, right? We're inside of this mitigation area. Don't worry about the jargon for now. Let me show you what's happening. We still have these lower downside targets over here, okay? We now want to understand what the market is actually doing. So to me, the market went external, attempted to go internal to this level over here, got cleared. And we'll talk about that a little later, right? I'll teach you exactly what that is. Shout out to Mr. Walter as well. And then went further down and went into this internal gap over here and is moving up, right? The issue though is that we really don't want to see it push through all these levels like this, because even this 3 candle here is external. So if we've gone external here, we could reasonably expect to go internal here, but the thing is that daily candle is not closed, so we need to operate with 4-hour information. And if we go to our 4-hour, we see price break through this low, break through that low. So that's external, and we're pulling back internal, and we want to see what actually happens over here. Now, here's what I think, and this is what I put out yesterday, is I think we go into these levels over here, we play around, and then we possibly come down. Now, for those of you who've been asking about the master pattern, and by the way, we're going to be talking about that in the coming weeks a bit more, and I'm putting something awesome together. And you're going to want to be on stream for when we speak about that. But what we are seeing is this move back up here. Let me talk you through it. And give me a 10 in the chat if you came for this type of education, right? You want to hear more about it. Give me a 10 in the chat. So I decided today, you know what? Let me open up the doors. Let me teach a little on the free platform as well as the our internal paid platforms as well. Thank you for the 10. So what do we see? We see something forming here. You guys know what I'm talking about. And I kind of want to talk through this trade because it might set up a trade here. And then we'll possibly talk about an active trade. Right? Now, I'm looking at a corresponding chart as well. I seem to have a lot of markings on this one. So let me clean this up. And this is ES. Write this down for your notes. That the best way sometimes to figure out where the market will end, right, where it will stop, what it will do, is to actually look at its correlated pairs, right? So at the moment, check this out. Price is gone. Thank you for the 10s. Below this low over here. And on that chart, also below this low. What do we see right on top though? We see a little divergence which tells us the market was going to turn around. I'm covering a couple of things you might not have expected me to cover today, but the good stuff is coming. I'm setting up this idea, this trade idea, for a possibility to trade in this particular session while we're live. I'm gonna set it up and then we'll go and talk about the training, and hopefully I'll catch an alert in time for us to actually see what plays out here. Okay, so we see this particular patterns playing out. Let's go and correlate it on this side as well. Up, down, there. Yeah. Nvidia news came out, the DeepSeek news, and price goes up like that, right? This is where we are now. So the higher time frame is projecting down with some more levels below to possibly tag. Now we cannot be guaranteed it's going there. We cannot, right? We just cannot be guaranteed, especially since this one took out the low before the overall low. But there's still room over here for us to go down. So we look at that and we ask ourselves at this point, is the 4-hour, listen to these words, internal? Yes, it is. We've taken this low, boom. And I want our newbies that has joined our academy to treat this as an actual class. That's what I'm teaching here today, and not just talking through things, right? I'm teaching here today. But I want you guys to actually get used to coming to the different platforms. We've taken out the swing low and we've gone down. We came into this mitigation area. Don't worry about that too much. And now we need to investigate what's happening in this blue area and even in that little red possible area. And basically what we want to see is the same pattern that we see on the higher time frame here. We want to see it duplicated on the lower time frame there. Right? So let me go and check. First things first, we check whether or not the 4 hours internal. Yes, it is. And when we check if the 1 hour is external. Right? And if you look at this, hey, that's one of the biggest questions that we get, Mr. X Logistics. How much do I need to start off with? And that's a difficult answer to give, because the question is, how much do you need to make, right, per day extra? And then also, what is it currently costing you now not to have the knowledge that you have? So here's a new way to think about it. And good question, Mr. Logistics. Here's a good way to think about it. What is the dream number that you have in mind that you want to make per year, right? What is the dream number that you have in mind that you want to make per year? Now, you don't have to put it in the chat if you don't want to. But that's what it's currently costing you not to get this knowledge. See what I'm saying? Okay, so let's just talk through what I'm seeing here. I'm going to put on where we are. So here's what what I want to see. I want to see where price is roundabout, because we are currently here. I'm going to try and come back at let's do this. I'm going to try and come back at 10:30, and we'll reassess what's happening here. So I'm going to try and keep it to every 15 minutes. We'll reassess. But essentially what I want to see is either we start breaking down from above this high right now, or we start breaking down from above that high. That's what I want to see, right? And what I mean by that is, this is what I want to see. I want to see price go up, take that out, break, and then come down. First target, second target, and we'll come back to that shortly, right? I'm going to set an alert on that, and we'll kind of like see what happens there. Okay, Mr. Just Early, hello to you too, right? Hello to you too. Okay, I'm hoping that number is 130 or $130K a year and not $130 for the year, Mr. Logistics. Okay, let's get into the training today. The market only moves by two things. Now, I needed to show you all of this first, so that when you get into the actual training, you understand that this is how I'm doing what might play out today. Hopefully it's going to play out within time. That's why I started the session a little later, because I wanted to see if there's a possibility that we get this trade later in session. But we'll see how that goes. And if I miss the trade, at least I've drawn onto you where I expect this to happen. Okay? This is the current target. Now, there's still some confirmations I need to do, but that's the current target. So let me stop screen share real quick. And I want to welcome everyone once again that's joined me. It's 36 people on with me. There's not 36 names in the chat. Mr. Letta, welcome as well. Please drop that names in the chat as well. And let me just tell everyone, within the next 2 weeks, we're going to have fun together. There's so much going on inside of the academy, so please stay tuned. You need to be checking your emails on a regular basis, right? You need to be checking your emails daily. Daily. Awesome. So work with me today. Let's keep it chatting. Let's keep it active. And I'm going to talk to you about the two things that the market does. Two things. Write it down on top of your notes. And remember, note takers are winners. If you're not taking notes right now, then don't expect yourself to win. Right? That's just the honest truth. Two things that are compulsory with me. Everybody must take notes, and everyone must backtest. My students know that I say that daily. And if what I'm telling you is the truth, students, let me know in the chat, right? But here's the thing. If you want to know what the market's direction is going to be, there is nothing better than this. This particular concept is not solely welcome, Isabel. not solely my concept, but I utilize it on a daily basis, and I can tell you I have turned it into something that one can follow easily. Okay, it's called internal and external range liquidity. When trying to discern directional bias, I have yet to find a simpler way than the relationship between internal and external range liquidity. That's a quote by me. I've said it multiple times. I said, bring me your indicator. I'll bring you internal to external range, and I'll tell you that this will be more accurate than your indicator, right? And I believe it. Shout out to Mr. Carl. I haven't seen you in a while, Carl. Shout out to you. Okay, so let's talk about this. On the left, follow along with me. Don't jump ahead. On the left, the easiest way to determine directional bias, right, is to simplify things. We're going to simplify it. What are we going to do? I'll skip the slide there, forgive me. What are we going to do? We're going to look at only two things on the chart. And if we have less things on the chart, right, then it's easier for us to determine which direction we're going to go, right? But if we try and think about all the possibilities that might happen, that's when things kind of don't work out like they should. By the way, let me just check. Did I actually set an alert on that thing? Yes, I did. We'll come back, right? Okay. So internal to external range liquidity. Price only does two things. We limit what we're looking for to simplify. What are the two things? They trade towards external range or internal range. When trading external, it seeks for resting stops. So here's how I want you to think about it. When we speak about external, we're speaking about where are everybody's stop losses. Right? Where's it sitting? Where's the pool of stop losses? Give me an 8 in the chat if you understand what I'm meaning right now. Give me an 8 in the chat. Right? Then secondly, what else it does is it trades to internal. It seeks to rebalance. So what are we actually saying there? We look for where prices got moved away rapidly and energetically. Think about fair value gaps. Think about gaps in the market. Think about volume imbalances, right? Where prices moved away rapidly, those are areas that price want to return to. So only two things. When you jump on the chart, ask yourself two things. Where are the people stops that is currently making money? So in other words, if the chart has dropped for a while, then you should know that there are stops above highs. If the chart has risen for a while, then you should know that there are stops below lows. Write that down, right? Both of those. And if you didn't write it down, go back, rewind this if you're watching on the replay, and listen to that again. And the other place it will be is kind of like when you guys are trading FOMC, NFP, and things like that. You know that price leaves a massive drop or massive jump. And if you go and look at inside of those gaps and stuff, that's the other place it goes to. So internal range looks like this. Check this out. It's a gap, it's imbalance, it's where price has been energetic, it's moved out powerfully with energy, it's left large red candles or large green candles in its wake. That is internal range. Another simple way to look at it is it's between a high and a low that has moved energetically. Between a high and a low that's moved energetically. Give me a 7 in the chat if I can keep going. Give me a 7 in the chat if I can keep going, right? And then external range is when price goes beyond that lows, right? Beyond that old low. Why? Because everybody who made money, thank you, Mr. Ninja Nate. Everybody who made money on the way up over here, right? Everybody who made money on the way up over here, they need to get stopped out. Price drops down, takes them out. So imagine if all you did every day is just jump on a chart and ask yourself these two questions. Where are the stops? Where's the imbalance? And if you notice that we've taken the stops first, then the next place we need to go to is the imbalance. If you've noticed that we've taken the imbalance first, then the next place you need to go to is the stops. It's as simple as that, right? Of course, there's more nuance to it with the master pattern and entry mechanisms and technique, but at the end of the day, this is what it comes down to. Right? Price movement can be defined by two things. It draws to old highs is the opposite way, and old lows, or rebalances a gap or an FEG or a market gap or a long wick. These are all the same things. Or a volume imbalance, right? Which is a gap between the bodies of two candles. It's the same thing over and over. It only does those two things. So if you want to understand what is the flow of orders, whether you should buy or whether you should sell, price will hit internal imbalance, and this will always become the catalyst for price to run towards external liquidity. Price will hit internal imbalance and becomes a catalyst for price to run towards external liquidity. Quickly, give me in the chat. Welcome, Wonder. Give me in the chat internal and external. I want to see if you guys are tracking with me. Internal and external. Type both those words, right? Now, here's a quick example on a currency chart. Again, this is applicable to all markets, whether you're trading indices, metals, stocks, futures, options. If you're trading corn, it works, right? Internal to external. If you're trading cattle on a chart, anything that moves on a chart that can be traded moves in this way. Notice what's happening over here. This is the old chart, Euro USD monthly chart. And as you can see, when the external range is taken, price draws to internal range. What do I mean by that? External, ERL. External range liquidity stops. This is where everybody, watch my mouse, everybody over here who made money, right? Everybody over here who made money as price was going up, this is where all their stops were taken out if they were still in that actual trade. And then after that stops has been taken out, price trades towards the imbalance. And after the imbalance has been taken, price trades towards where? The stops. And after the stops has been taken, price trades towards where? The imbalance. And after the imbalance is taken, price trades towards where? The stops. Right? You see what I'm doing? Using internal and external consistently. Let's keep it going. Here's another example. Now, here's where it gets good, because if you pay a higher time frame and you understand that it's going to go from year till year, and I'm going to show you this on the live chart, right? Let me quickly just check on that actual chart as well. On the NASDAQ. Still going up. It's going higher than that point. Yep. All good. So when you know that price is going to go from a higher time frame down, let me show you real quick, again, by going back to the slide before this. When I believe that this is going to happen, watch my mouse, right? From a higher time frame perspective, I can pair that with a lower time frame narrative. In other words, when I hit internal range, and I hope someone's catching this today, my expectation should be external is next. Right? This is why we don't frame our directional bias based on lower time frames, such as the 5-minute, such as the 10-minute, all these things. We frame our directional bias off of higher time frame direction. Right? That's what we do. So the higher time frame direction here says down based on internal to external. So when we take that idea, we take it to a lower time frame. Now, here's what it says. As you can see, when external range has been taken, price draws to internal range. How it gets there is via a medium time frame. If you're looking at the monthly, I'm not going to cover all the time frames. The medium time frame for the monthly is the daily. And so we go to the daily to allow price to hit that area. Here's where it goes first. All right? External. Even here, it's external. Goes to internal. Then to external. Then to internal. Then to internal, well, it stays in this range, and then to internal, then to external, and here changes direction. Our objective is to wait for our medium time frame to confirm direction. Right? This is where it gets a little bit more advanced. You want your higher time frame to tell you where we are going. You want your medium time frame to tell you how we are going there, and your entry time frame to tell you now's the time to get entered. Right? But even here, watch. After we turn, and my mastermind students should already be seeing inside of here, there's a master pattern. Give me a 10 in the chat if you see the master pattern forming on the downside. Right? Give me a 10 in the chat. Let me know. If you're on here in your mastermind, give me a 10 in the chat. You see the master pattern forming. Then watch what happens here. External, low taken. Where do we trade to next? Internal. Thank you, Kate and David. Thank you, Timothy. External, boom. Where do we trade to? Internal. External, boom. Where do we trade to? Internal. I know I sound like a broken record, but this is the pattern that the market produces. Then we go what? External and back to internal. Right? This is the footprint. This is what it's doing. Now, how do we know which one to take here? Is it this one? Is it that one? That's a combination of time. That's a combination of lower time frame fractals. What do I mean by that? I mean that what happens on the higher time frame is happening on the lower time frame as well. And we wait for that footprint to produce in order for us to see. I see a lot of 10s in the chat. Thank you guys. And I see yes, master pattern as well. Absolutely. We see it developing from the first point comes here. Here's really where it starts to develop. As it takes this low, boom, goes down, and we target that overall end over there. Same thing as I was showing you earlier on the Nasdaq chart I was talking about, which by the way, we just gotten the alert. Let me quickly switch back to that. I'll come back to the screen again. And how do I do this? Okay. Yep. And I'm going to tell you what I'm kind of like looking for. And I might change to the MNQ chart afterwards, right? Futures market trade, because I'm not logged in on the Nasdaq chart over here. But here's what I'm looking for. There's the time, right? Time of day that I was looking for, price to hit, and I said either we go above this high or we go above that high. That's what I want. I can take this particular line off here. And what I'm trying to see now is what is price doing on the way down. I want to see it start to develop a master pattern on the way down. So I'm happy for price to do this. Go higher for a bit first, then start making its way down. So I want to see it actually attack that in that way. I might even be inclined to investigate it on the 1 minute, right? And start to see that price action come through here, break there, and do its thing. But I'm going to give it, you know what? I'm going to give it another, let's give it another 10 minutes to develop. Let me see where I can set this alert. I'll give it another 10 minutes to develop and I'll come back here. That's the thing about trading. You got to really, really just be patient, right? Why is not allowing me to set alert? Oh, the alert's still on there. Be patient. Everybody write that down in the chat. Patient, patient, patient. And if you need help with patient, please also write in the chat. Coach, pray for me. I need help with patience. Right? We've all been there. We've all been there. So we'll come back to that real shortly, right? We got 10 minutes still. Let me keep on teaching. I gotta be patient. Yes. Okay. Let me see. Is this the correct screen I got on here? No, wrong screen. There we go. Okay, I'm back. I am back. Screen coming up in just a second. I have too many screens open here, and let's see. There we go. Okay, so what does price do? Internal range to external, internal to external, internal to external all the time on the way down, right? Good things happen to those traders. Yes, Timothy, who wait, right? And shout out to Timothy also for doing some awesome classes in the last 2 Saturdays. And I believe that Mr. Timothy is up for a surprise coming up this Thursday as well. You guys want to tune into that, right? Thank you, Mr. Timothy. You're doing awesome. Again, just to keep on that thought, and here's what I want you to look at. Look at the screen, and I want you to see after this ERL, old I, is taken, where is that internal range liquidity? Where is it? Where is it clearly visible? Where can you spot it? Can you see it? Give me a thumbs up, or not a thumbs up. Give me a yes sir in the chat if you can see it. Right? Can you see the internal range liquidity? I'm gonna give you a minute. I'm gonna have something to drink. Let me know. Jill says yes in the gap. The answer is correct. There we go. Every single time we go external, we go internal range. Right? We left that area because we've already gone external. We can now wait to turn internal. Listen, I need you to tell me in the chat if you think this is good information, valuable information. Go a little beyond just a yes or no. Tell me, what do you think about this? Is this good? Right? Is this good? I can tell you, even if you don't say so, this is my number one way to discover market direction. Let's keep it going. Look at this, right? Now, I want you to see here. You see this particular area? What you're going to see on the next slide, Innocent, is how price develops out of this area and how you can capitalize on that in a very stair-step way. Thank you, Mr. Adam. Thank you, Samuel. Watch this. This is how we come in. Now, masterminds, you tell me, do you see the master pattern in here? Do you see the master pattern? All right, now you realize that I've been teaching you this for a while before I actually showed it to you. Look at this. Price drops over here. It retraces into the monthly area. Then what does it do? External to internal. External to internal. External to internal. You're saying, Coach, we know what you're saying. External to internal. I got to say this. I got to show you that this is the production of the market. Right? Over and over. Now, a couple of notes on here. There's a high lined up with a gap. Somebody should make a note of that. That's very crucial. Right? Crucial information. What else do we have? Price comes into this gap. Large wick candle over here. Boom. Right? Long wick on the 2-day chart. There's something here as well. We need to go between our time frames. We need to understand what's happening on each time frame. Right? We need to know this. Now, notice price goes from ERL to IRL and vice versa. What's the key point? The ERL can be ERL in the immediate range. In other words, what do I mean by that? Check this out. It can be in this range, from this low to that high, or it can be on the far left, external range. What happens on the left? Here's the important note someone should take. What happens on the left always gets fulfilled and mitigated on the right. The market tells you on the left of the market what it's likely to do on the right of the market. These things, everyone, is predictable. It is fractal. It is predictable on a daily basis. Okay? So you want to be making tremendous notes about this. Now, give me 1 second. I'm so sorry. I got my father-in-law calling me here. He needs something from me. But I'm just going to send him a message. Is it okay if we just be honest and stuff like that? We do family things. We do family things as well. And I'm getting an alert from the actual chart as well. So let's go to that real quick. Lost the candles entry. Yes. Yes. Okay. Let's see what's happening here. Okay, so we got our alert. Let's come off. I'm going to switch charts for you guys again. Let me go to that. I got too many screens going on here. Share screen. And here we go. Shout out to 38 people on here today with me. Okay. So what are we seeing so far? We see, I can go to 2 minutes just for a bit of clarity. We're seeing price stagnate over here at this particular area. But we are starting to see, I'll take off that line. We're starting to see some form of this production here. Now, I'm still not guaranteed that that's what's going to happen, but this is my anticipation. Right? This is my anticipation. That's what I put on the chart to you guys earlier before it happened. Okay, and so now we're trying to look. We're trying to look. I'm going to give a little hint to someone here that's from Mastermind, to something. Why is price actually going up there at the moment? Right? That's why price is going up. That's why price is going up. So we want to see price break that area. I'm going to go ahead and put a alert here. I want to see price break that area. And if price breaks that area strongly and energetically, then there might be an actual kind of sell setup happening over there. Still a couple of things we need to check. And that's why I'm going to do the same chart, but I'm going to go to MNQ because I can split screen quickly with ES. and we can start looking for things like some form of divergence. Let me do the same thing over here. And we'll bring you back to the other chart again, right? So you can confirm that those things that I drew on are not things that I just made up. So have a look over here, and I'll pull this back. I'm only bringing it to this chart so that I can move these two charts side by side. Okay. Now we've had a good run recently with a couple of live trades on the stream, and hopefully that continues today if this sets up within a time window. Trying to see what's happening here on the lower time frames. Right now I want to see us trade through this energetically. So I don't want to see like stagnant price action. I want to see us go through it strongly, right? And then attempt to tag it and then drop down again. Okay, that's what I want to see. So what would we do once that happens? Once it goes through, we'll assess it. We'll look for things like divergence, but that's a topic for another day. Quickly back to the actual slides, and I got an alert set on, so I will hear the alert when it goes off, and then I'll bring you guys back here as well. Let me know in the chat if this is good training, you're finding tremendous value in this. I gotta check in with you guys because I want to make sure that the time spent here is valuable time, right? Valuable time. So let's go to the actual slides one more time. And we had the last slide, by the way, so I'm just going to talk you through some things. Okay, still on this particular slide over here, here's what we're currently seeing. There are various levels on the left, right? There are various levels that are significant. Can you guys see it? Give me a 10 in the chat if you can see it's significant. Let me know. I'm waiting. I know you guys are here for the trading, but I'm also here for the teaching. Now check this out. The level, the one of it is that's important is the monthly level. Why is it listed as the monthly level? Because when we went back to the previous chart, we were looking at this particular chart. We saw the price was coming in here and it's going up there, right? When we see that the higher time frame is poised to go that direction, right? Then we also know that the lower time frame is going to do the same, right? But how does the lower time frame do it? That's the signal. The higher time frame is the signal. The lower time frame, the medium time frame in this regard, is the kind of the light bulb being shined to us that says, okay, here we are, here we going. Right? I'm getting another alert there real quick. I'm going over to the charts. And this is how we go up, right? Let me go back to the chart. Let me see what's happening here. Let me share. This is happening way too fast for me to actually go back there and share. Okay, so we've just taken that low in an energetic way. What I want to look at now is look at, do I have, give me a 7 in the chat if you can currently see my chart. I want to see more energy below that low, by the way. I'm not convinced yet. But what I want to look at is this high to that. Is that actually divergence at the moment? Is that something I want to look at? Currently, this is not what you want to see. I don't want to see it pierce through it and pull back up again. So we'll look at it some more, right? So let me see. Where's my crosshair? Over here. Here's my crosshair. I like to use my crosshair tool and kind of like look at, am I getting divergence? So yeah, at the moment, this is what we're seeing. This is going there and that is going there, but I'm still not convinced. I want to see price push through this area over here energetically. We got a breakdown, yes, but I also want to break this thing. I don't want to cover what this is. Let me take it to higher time frame so maybe some of you can see it better. This level over here, masterminds, you know what I'm talking about. There. there, right? And excuse me for mentioning the masterminds all the time. It's just I don't want to have to cover this topic in detail on the stream. We have classes on this, but this is what I'm waiting to fail. I don't want this to hold when I want to take a trade, right? So I'm waiting for that to fail. And ideally, I want to see this fail energetically. It can go higher, that's okay. Go higher and break down again, that's fine. We don't have much time on the session though, so if it doesn't actually happen now, then all I need you to do is go and watch it after the fact, right? Make sure you're going to watch it after the fact and see whether or not it actually played out as we anticipated. That's what's going to be important. Who's going to pay attention to this today? Whether you trade this market or not is not as important as whether you actually study the concepts. Now you go back over this particular class, you're going to find so much value. So much value. So we're waiting to see what the market's going to do. And we're going to respond to that. Now, I would have liked it already to just tank through this. It gave me that indication it wants to do that. But I definitely don't want to get in on any form of sells while this SPR is holding. Right? I don't want to get in on any form of sells while the SPR is holding. I want to see it fail. It needs to come down through it with an energetic move, and then we can get involved in it. Is it this? Somebody say, please let this be it. What time frame is the chart on the right? The same time frame as the one on the left, which is the 1 minute, and you can see it over here. That's the 1 minute. And that's the 1 minute. Now, if you're starting out in trading, I don't suggest that you go straight to the 1 minute, right? This is not for the faint-hearted. You need to get used to doing other time frames first. This is also possible here. Let me just show you guys. It's possible. It's not guaranteed yet. Price could diverge at these levels as well. This one being higher, that one being lower. That would be ideal if we just drop through that now energetically, right? But we'll see how long we can go. So why am I actually looking at this in this particular way? Let me tell you why from a higher time frame perspective. Is that simply put, we have gone external over here. We've traded internal over there. And from that particular point, there is room to the downside from a higher time frame perspective, right? Which is if we go up, we can go down all the way here. We don't yet know if that's going to be the case, because the other contrary idea to that is, let me show you quickly, and I know I've got a lot of stuff on my chart, so you'll have to follow my mouse. The other contrary idea to that is we took that high, right? And we took this low, that high, and we're trading in between that range at the moment, right? That's where we are at. And so it could be on some time frames, this could be considered a consolidation, but at the end of the day, we have to take direction. We have to choose one. Right? And you have to be committed to it. You have to choose which one you're going to take. I know some of you might need to jump off now, and that's okay. We've been on a stream for almost an hour now, but that's just what trading is, right? It's waiting. Waiting. We have to wait and see what the market's going to do. Who's willing to wait? Let me know in the chat who's willing to wait. Who's willing to wait? Someone says waiting. Yes. Yeah, I wish I could sing and dance, right, for you guys and make you excited and things like that, but I can't. All I gotta do is gotta wait and look at the charts. This is And when people tell you that the 1 minute is so fast, I cannot make a decision on it. Here's an example of when the 1 minute isn't that fast. All right, let me see what this one has done. What is it? What about the SBRs on this side? Let me check. I only need one of them to really fail. And by the way, even as a coach, I can be wrong. But I have to be happy with what the markets produce. Let me also just go and check what the news is for the day. Come on, 39 people on the stream. Please do me a favor. I want to see 39 likes. At a minimum, 39 likes on this video. That's just a way for you guys to actually just bless us. 39 likes on this particular video. While you're on the stream, please just go and hit the like button. Not for the live trading aspect of it, but more so the teaching that you received, because I think that was good value today. All right, we're waiting. So all the news basically is done for the day. We can only depend on session volatility at the moment, and it is taking its time. All right, it's taking its time. Now, for the most part, I like to find that entry inside of the... You know what? Let me say this. Who in the chat knows what time I want to find that entry in? Right? I want to check if you guys remember. Now, I'd like to see an energetic move. Please come drop down through here, and I'd love to see this one drop down through there as well. Obviously, it's taking its own time. Give me something energetic and give me a gap inside of here, and I'd be a lot happier. Right? Let me see. Man, that's a high stop, and I have to take it there because this one, the high is there. I don't really want to have such a high stop. But if I'm going overall here, that's enough to get a 3R. So I don't want to smother my actual trade. Does everyone, let me know in the chat, have you liked the actual stream already? Let me know. Let me know if you've done it. We'd appreciate that. This is the thing that you have to get used to. Waiting. Now I'm gonna stay on for another, I'd say, 5 to 10 minutes. If we don't have it, then I'm gonna call it. But I'm gonna trust you to go have a look and see what happens. Can we agree to that? Right? Flo says liked it 3 times. Awesome. You can drop a comment in the chat in the once the video is done as well. If you guys can, you can drop a comment in there as well. That won't be now because what will happen is this will be a live video. So when you go and rewatch it later, it'll be a recorded video. Come on. You see, this is the problem with this. It takes some time. Now, I will say this. If you're trading the futures market, I will extend the 11 a.m. New York time to 12. And I'll be very consistent with that. You will hear me say that at a later stage even more. I'll teach on that and teach why. And teach why that if the charts are moving in the same directions, why do I do it on the one market but not on the other market? There's a reason behind it. But we'll stick here for another 10 minutes. If we don't get this price action, we will go and watch it afterwards. And then while we're on the stream as well, if you guys are still praying, please pray for my son. He's been really sick since yesterday. It came out of nowhere. He's got a bit of a croup cough, but it's really straining on his chest. And we're just trying to get him back to himself. He just started school recently. And we had to keep him out for the safety of the other kids as well and for himself. But yeah, we want to get him back to health. So please say a prayer if you get a chance. That's what we're all about here at Kingdom Day Traders. We care about our people enough to pray. We pray for you, you pray for me. In fact, there's a song that says, I pray for you, you pray for me. We're all a part of God's body. Stand with me, agree with me. It is His will that every need be supplied. I'll say this to everyone on the call. You are important to me. I need you to survive. All right? Still waiting for this divergence to hold. Yeah, thank you, Star. Thank you so much, Mr. Frederick. I appreciate that. I really do. Okay, so hang on for 5 minutes. Same thing I'm expecting. And here's the thing. We do not chase candles. We don't get in on any of this. And the reason we don't is because if we are wrong, if I'm wrong about this area, if price decides to hold in this particular SBR, which is possible, right? Then I'm safe. I've kept myself out of this trade because the market has decided to go higher. I am operating under the impression that the market wants to go lower now here, but it could very well decide to. Let me show you. And this is why it's important. Here's two gaps. Here's a gap. There's a gap. It could very well decide it's not going to fall from this gap and go up to that one. And then I'd be wrong. But I'm not taking the trade because I'm waiting for price action to do its thing. Right? That's how you keep yourself out of it. Now, one of you might say, but Coach, doesn't that mean we could have gone up? Yes, we could, but we always have to lean on what is the side of the market we think most likely that it will do. Now, if this one doesn't play out, I encourage you to go and watch the last stream I did on this particular channel, which was, I think, about a week ago or even less. If you go and look at that, you'll see that I also traded live there. The difference is it played out a lot quicker. It was happening as we came onto stream. But the process is consistent. We trade from external to internal, from external to internal. And should price go, right, we don't have, it's still diverging from this high now to wherever this is, because this one's gone higher, right? And the idea is that we are still, let me show you. Oh, let me go to higher time frame here. Is it the daily I was talking about? The 4 hour, 4 hour. Here's the idea. Thank you so much, everybody who's praying for his healing. I appreciate that. The idea is that even if we do go higher on both these charts, and look what's happening here. All this one is doing is going for this gap. Let me draw it on. Right? Now we might have a scenario where the better trade was earlier in the session, buying up here to go there, and that's okay. But what we're trying to see is, are we going to go internal to external? In fact, from here till there is internal, even up until here is internal, because that gap is there. And as you can see over here, we're now tagging this chart's internal as well. So let me set that on as red. We just hit that one as well. So this is all part of it, right? Nothing has changed. Just seeing price go up doesn't mean anything. We are still waiting for that criteria to be met. Now we've gone quite extensively up over here, and it's likely that we're not going to get this trade in the session. As I said, I'll extend it to 12, but I'm not going to stay on another hour with you guys. What I'd instead say, go ahead and watch it. Let's see what its objective is. Is it going to go to the higher gap, right? On the 4 hour, as this one has now gone. And notice we still have divergence here. Is it going to go to the higher gap like this one has and this one hasn't? Or is this one going to go to the higher gap as well and this one go even deeper, and then it happens from that particular area? It could very well just also come from here right now, drop through that low, right? And once it drops through that low, it becomes a better trade, so to say. And we could realistically, if it drops through this low, we could realistically put our stops above that high in this scenario, because we've got an energetic move up and an energetic move down. Okay, Once again, thank you everyone for the prayers. I appreciate that. Again, if you just joined us, we've got 40 people on stream. Please hit the like button. And shout out to all our newbies as well that has joined us recently. I am telling you, we've got some awesome stuff coming for you guys in the near future. Allow us this week because Coach Brian and Coach Cindy has landed in South Africa. And on account of that, we have a lot of logistics that we want to sort out. Our existing students have been with us for years. They know that this is a common thing when they land this side. We have our team meetings that we could not have when we are in different parts of the world. So that's happening right now. And yeah, so still looking at this divergence, I'd really like to see it move energetically now through this level. As I said, we'll extend this to 12 on the futures market, but even if it does the same thing on the FX market, I will not be trading beyond that point. Coach Bob says, got it on. No problem, Coach Bob. I'm going to be off also really soon. Just want to see it actually possibly trade through that. Maybe place the trade and then walk away from it if it does. All right, let's see. A limit order. Let's go with 5 contracts. Maybe, let me see. I don't want to take such a big position so late in the day. Well, let's just go with 3 contracts. Right. Let me see. Yep. I'll have to let it run through there before I make that decision. That's ultimately what I want to see. Thank you, Kate and Dave. I appreciate that. This is looking a little better in the sense that it is now putting in some gaps in price action. We'd like to see that not get filled. And of course, just as I say that, then it goes back up to go and fill that. But we are waiting in anticipation. And it's going up. This one's going to play around with us for a while. You know what I'll do in the school community? If I do end up catching this trade, I will, if you guys are part of our school community, I will go ahead and kind of like post a breakdown there. But that's going to be, I'm going to call it for today, everyone. It's taking too much time. It's going to play around with us. Maybe it's just going to go and fulfill the higher time frame and then come down. But at the end of the day, stick to what you've been taught today. There's only 2 things that the market does. It's go internal to external. And from the 4-hour perspective, we believe that there's likely that we are going to go external next, or at least attempt to go down. And so, but we might attempt to go down from this level. We might also attempt to go down from this level. Right? 2 schools of thought. You could trade it up into that level. I try to stay on the side that is highest probability based on the higher time frame direction. And currently, the higher time frame direction says we came into there and down. So I'm looking for sells, not buys. I want to stay on the side of price action that is most relevant to direction. So if I'm looking for sells, I'm only looking for sells. Some days, I'm going to be honest with you, I'll go both ways. But today is not one of those days. Thank you, everybody. You guys be blessed on purpose. And I appreciate, again, as I said, you guys' prayers. I wish that this could have been, and this is why I told you guys in the past, live trading is not as cool and as exciting as it seems. I am not a hyper scalper. I trade precision, so I wait. If I had been in front of this chart without you guys, I'd just set this alert here like I have it over here. All right, then I'd set alert at the top and I would just walk away and then come back when one of those alerts trigger and then adjust accordingly. But because I'm here, I have to sit in front of it the entire time with you guys to speak through it. But I would encourage you guys as well that if you are trading, set your alert above, set your alert below, set your alert above, which I'm going to do now so that I can walk away and go check on things. Set your alert below there and set your alert above, because when it goes above you need to look for a new breakdown. But it's also very possible that we've been moving. We're going to go and fill this higher time frame 1 year. I'll tell you when I want to see this move happen. Honestly, I want to start seeing it happen real soon. We might get it later, so let me give you a tip. This might happen later in the day, between 2 and 4 p.m. New York time. Between 2 and 4 p.m. New York time. But it's been me, Coach Shadwin Solomon. I am out for the day. Love you all. Be blessed on purpose. Thank you for hanging on the stream with me. You guys have been consistent. I've had 40 people, or 30, from 35 to 40 the entire time. Remember, before you jump off, just hit the like button. If you are new to us completely, then please go ahead and go to kingdomdaytraders.com. kingdomdaytraders.com. and sign up and see what we're all about. All right. God bless you guys. Have a blessed day. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.